You're looking at the prettiest little stadium in America, Paulson Stadium, where Georgia Southern is going to start their season against Gardner-Webb tomorrow. But this segment of the WSAV CW Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week is brought to you by your Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers. Hit the road in the extremely versatile 2021 Honda HR-V, available now at your Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers. So, Danny, we mentioned that Swainsboro took the Mayor's Cup last year, 12-6 the score on that one. And prior to that game, Statesboro had not lost to the Tigers since 2000.
Yeah, they want to avoid that here tonight and get a win over Swainsboro. They want to see this rivalry be a little bit more consistent compared to what it was a couple of decades ago. I mean, this rivalry almost spans a century, with the first game starting around 1920, 1921. So a lot of history between these two teams. They want to continue it here tonight, and with Swainsboro getting the win last year, 12-6, like you said, Andrew, they want revenge here in their home opener.
Yeah, one of the things that really strikes me when doing research on some of these 6A schools, some of the schools that have been big for a while, is just how far back the game of football goes. I mean, you see some of the Savannah City schools and the records go back to the 70s or the 60s. You get to Statesboro, you're finding stuff from the 1910s.
Yeah, it's crazy to see just the rich history of Statesboro football. I mean, they have it on display on their scoreboard with 5 high school state championships, the most recent one being in 2005. And, Jeff Kaiser talked about that lineage and that history. He said, they don't have to, they see it. They don't have to tell it to them. Everyone sees it. They talk to them about it. It's getting back to that level, and that's what they want to do in changing that culture, not just on the field, but also in the school and in the administration.
Well, one interesting thing that Statesboro is going to have to change this year as opposed to last year against Swainsboro is yards per carry. They only averaged 1.7 in last year's game, but this year they have a dangerous running back at their disposal, Jalen Michael, who ran for 107 yards against Wayne County, and now that could be a big difference maker.
Yeah, the running game is going to be big on both sides, but with Swainsboro, not having the 2 receivers from last year, they're going to focus more on the run game tonight, so you could see them get very involved.
Well, let's go down to the field for the Honda coin toss.
Good football? Oh, it's a beautiful night, isn't it? Good night for football. I got a coin here. That's a head, and that's the tail. What is that? That's a zebra, right? Why would I be using a zebra? Because I'm a zebra. So. You want heads? He wants tails. He wants tails. I'm going to flip it to hit the ground. He called tails. That's a head. That means, Blue, you won the toss. What, you want to defer? He wants to defer. Blues won the toss, and they are going to defer. That means you want to receive the ball. Is that correct? And which way would you like to kick it? Defend the clock? All right, put your backs right. There's the clock. Put your backs over there. White, stand right here. You are going to receive on. All right, guys, shake hands one more time. Let's have a good one.
All right, folks, that was the Honda coin toss. You just heard that Swainsboro is going to receive. And the word of the day for the Tigers is youth. Just 3 seniors on this entire team. That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, this is a completely different Swainsboro team from last year compared to this year. And, you never really see freshmen and sophomore get a chance to play on the varsity level, normally starting to get their feet wet on the JV side of things. But for them to get things going as freshmen and sophomore on the varsity level, this is great growth and development for this team going up against a 6A school like Statesboro.
Yeah, well, you mentioned that they may be running the ball more, Swainsboro is. Listed as their starter tonight, Quinn Brown, a freshman at running back, only had 23 carries all of last season.
Yeah, and 85 yards as well. So this is going to be a great opportunity for him going up against a tough Statesboro defense, and the Statesboro defense is going to rotate consistently on the defensive side with fresh legs.
Yeah, Blue Devils have depth on depth on depth. And that's the way a lot of these 6A schools are. And we've seen over the course of the first few weeks, particularly before region play starts, these smaller schools trying to figure out how to match up with rosters that could be 2, sometimes even 3 times as big as them. I mean, the disparity isn't that big tonight, but it happens. So DeMello Jones back deep for Swainsboro as we get ready to get this game started. Week 3 of the high school football season here in Georgia, and it's a lot less muggy than the first 2 weeks. This is beautiful.
Yeah, there's something about that first Friday in September. I mean, the weather is cool. It didn't get over 90 degrees, and, you know, for those who live in Statesboro, it can get pretty hot when it's over 90 with the humidity, but great weather, a great night for football here.
All right, well, here comes the opening kickoff. Statesboro against Swainsboro, the Mayor's Cup renewed here in Bullock County. And here we go. DeMello Jones into the end zone, and he is going to take a touchback. So bring it on out to the 20, and Swainsboro will set up shop with Ty Adams under center.
Yeah, and Ty Adams, as we talked about, you know, looking to be more consistent. You know, he only played one game last season and didn't come back until week 9. So starting to get back in rhythm after 2 games so far in 2021. Junior 5'11", 165 pounds. You know, he threw for 1 touchdown last year, but 258 yards off 23 of 45 passing. We'll see what he can do today.
Yeah, Ty Adams was going to be the starter last year, suffered a almost season-ending injury in week 2. So we'll see what Swainsboro is able to do, and what they're doing on the first play is picking up a first down. The wide receiver sweep to DeMello Jones moves the chains.
They're going to look to get everybody involved in the run game, starting with DeMello Jones.
So your Honda starting lineups are sweeping across the top of the screen right now. First for the Swainsboro offense, Phillips, Ricks, Palmer, Blunt, and Harris starting across that offensive line, and not a senior among them. So 1st and 10 for Swainsboro on the 38-yard line. And this time, Adams keeps it, fires, incomplete. Looking for Jones again, just a little bit high.
Already early on, it seems like Jones is going to be the go-to guy for Swainsboro. That time, Adams had space, wasn't really pressured, just too high of a throw trying to find Jones.
Your Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers starting lineups are back again for the Statesboro defense this time. Again, flicking across the top of your screen, Jackson, Payne, Aldred, and Johnson are your front 4 for the Blue Devils. A stout lineup up front. Of course, you never really know who Kaiser's going to rotate in on any given play, as that run is stacked up after barely a yard.
Yeah, blown up right up front by Trey Payne and Jamie Spate on the defense for Statesboro. Nowhere to go, forcing a 3rd down.
A pair of seniors, Payne and Spate. Payne had 1 sack against Wayne County. Spate racked up 8 tackles. So look for both of them to play key roles tonight. 3rd down and 9 on the 38 for Swainsboro. Adams checking the play coach on his wrist. In case you didn't know what that's called, it's called a play coach. It's got a couple of preset plays on there. He's got 4 wide receivers in the formation. Adams looking right, now firing, and incomplete. He put that one right on the hands of DeMello Jones. Should have been a first down. Instead, it'll likely be a punt.
See, that's the thing about youth out there in your offense when you have Jones as a sophomore. You have to complete those passes. He had plenty of space. There was trips right, had a slant route, open space. You got to be able to catch that with both hands and then go down with it. That would have been a first down for Swainsboro, but already a 3 and out to start.
Well, it looked like DeMello Jones, explosive as he is, was looking to run with the ball before he had secured it. So the punter is going to be Jared Stewart for Swainsboro. And end-over-end punt. It takes a Swainsboro bounce, and Statesboro will pick up the proceedings at about the 36-yard line. So we will see our first of Cam Michael on the day, although Jalen Michael will doubtlessly be in there as well. Cam at quarterback, Jalen at running back, as you see the Statesboro offense on your screen now.
And what's interesting about Cam and Jalen Michael, not brothers, but distant cousins that Jeff Kaiser was telling us about both of those men earlier this week.
Yeah, well, with their chemistry, you'd think that they were brothers, but they certainly don't play like distant cousins. Michael lining up with 1 back in the backfield, 3 wide receivers in the formation. Rotating across the line is Crayson Wells, and then a fumble on the first snap. Michael has to fall on it, and he'll lose a couple.
That's not what you want to see for Jeff Kaiser for Statesboro High. You got to remember this team had a bye week before playing this game against Swainsboro after their first match in the Earth Russell Classic, and that's miscommunication. You're going to see that early on before they get back in rhythm here tonight.
Well, it seemed like they were trying to bring Jalen Michael across the formation on either a play action or on some kind of sweep play, and Cam just looked to him before he had secured the ball. So second down and 15 from the Statesboro 27. Michael on the give, and he'll pick up at most a yard or two.
You know, Swainsboro only has 3 seniors, but the seniors they have can make a big impact. Ryan Gilmore, 6'3", 240 pounds, blew that play up in the backfield.
So Jaquavius Lattimore is kind of the player to watch on the Swainsboro side. Also a senior. He has the goal of Player of the Year in the region. He tweeted that out before the year. So, you know what? Calling your shot. I kind of like the confidence.
Yeah, you want to set expectations for yourself, and that's going to be a big expectation to make, and wants to be able to do that. And what better way to do that against Statesboro?
By the way, this is a team that has Jeff Davis in the region, that has Vidalia, so this is not an easy task that he described. Third down and 15. Pass complete for Statesboro. On the reception there is Tim Taylor, and he won't get anywhere near the first down marker.
And Taylor, a dual sport athlete, also plays some basketball as well, the small forward and power forward. You see the pass by Michael, open space, able to break a tackle. In that situation, you just got to get down, but fourth down for the Blue Devils.
And you like to see that from Swainsboro's defense. Hats to the ball. Look at how many helmets there were around Taylor within a second. So 4th and 6 from the 37. We're going to see Avery Newton line to punt. Newton kicks it off. And on the receiving end of that is Jakari Nobles, but Nobles won't get a chance to return it. Instead, it'll just be Swainsboro ball at the 25.
Back-to-back 3 and outs on the first series from both teams. Second time out for Swainsboro. We'll see how they're able to bounce back.
Well, this traditionally, at least last year and in recent years prior to that, is not a high-scoring rivalry. This is a defensive slugfest.
Yeah, absolutely. With Statesboro, with multiple guys that they rotate on defense, and Swainsboro holding Statesboro just to 1.7 yards per carry, you're going to see defense a big factor tonight.
So first down and 10 from the 25-yard line. Adams with the give. And after 5 yards, Quinn Brown wrestled down.
Brown following the path of his offensive lineman to get good yards. Great handoff. Gain of 5.
Ty Adams trying to find some semblance of rhythm, recovering from injury, and this is not an easy situation that he's been placed in, trying to come back against such a tough schedule after Brown picks up another couple. So it'll be roughly 3rd and 2.
But good progression, though. That's all it really takes is 3 to 4 yard plays to slowly get your offense going and getting first downs.
Well, you mentioned Swainsboro trying to find who they are on offense, and I think this is part of that, sort of building in easy-to-execute plays to kind of get your guys a little bit of confidence out there.
That's right. Scott Roberts talked about this team being young and talented, but still looking for that confidence factor.
And the give there is to Brown, and he is wrestled down shy of the marker. Excellent pursuit by Statesboro, and making the play there is Jamie Spade.
They tried to get the first down just short. We'll see if they go for it here.
All right, well, it looks like the punt unit may be coming on, and if that is the case, then through the first 5 minutes of play here, we have seen 3 drives, and all 3 of them 3 and outs. So Jordan Lovett, the deep man for Statesboro. And Statesboro coming with heavy pressure on the punt. And that'll take a Swainsboro bounce and be downed at the 28-yard line. So dueling banjos, but really it's dueling punts here so far at Womack Field, as we will get our second look at Statesboro's offense.
Yeah, Swainsboro very lucky to get that punt off. Statesboro brought the house and more. almost had a block, but luckily a bounce that sent it downfield a little bit more.
So last year, Statesboro, despite their 4-7 record, won, ended the year on a real positive note. And then this year, they got 3 of their final 4 games away from home, including their finale at the region co-champ Glenn Academy. So it's going to be tough for Statesboro to have that kind of positive ending again. They're going to have to go through much tougher competition as the quarterback keeper from Michael here picks up about 7.
Fake handoff on first down. A great run by Michael. Gain of 9. Just 1 yard shy of the first down. But, that's why you got to win these games at home early on and build that toughness for that final 4-game road stretch, or 3 of the 4 games at the end of the year on the road.
And it must have been such a buoy to the morale of this team to play in the Irk Russell Classic, which they were scheduled to do last year. Didn't get to do it because of COVID. I imagine these kids, even though it's 2 weeks later, are probably still over the moon about it.
Yeah, I mean, the prettiest little stadium in America. It's right around the corner here in Statesboro.
Here's the give to Michael, and Michael falls forward for the first down out across the 40-yard line.
I mean, that has to be something that players dream of at Statesboro High, being able to play in the college stadium, being able to be a part of that atmosphere, knowing what Irk Russell did, not just for Georgia Southern, but for the city of Statesboro as well.
Yeah, and they really enjoyed the laser light show and all of the pre-production effects that Georgia Southern uses that they got to experience for that game. I mean, to be a 15, 16-year-old kid, maybe wanting to play in college and go through that had to be pretty cool. So here's Cam Michael in the gun. Little screen out to Lovett, and that falls incomplete. 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, open on the wide receiver screen. Lovett, a junior, 5'10", 185 pounds. He had 4 carries in the first game of the season against Wayne County, but unable to make the catch. He does have interest in a couple of college football teams as well.
Yeah, he's got interest from Georgia Southern. He's met with Western Kentucky's coaches. This is a speedy guy, so maybe look for him to get the ball in isolation where he can maybe make some moves. But for now, it's going to be 2nd down and 10. Michael in the gun. And this one's a keeper. Michael getting loose. And the ball's out. And Swainsboro has it. What a turn of events for Swainsboro. Jakari Noble's on the recovery, and all of a sudden the Tigers have the ball on Statesboro's side of the field.
That was a great run by Michael. Misdirection, was able to break a couple of defenders using his feet, but at the very end just could not hang on to the ball.
Let's take a look on the Savannah and Low Country Honda Dealers replay. And, oh, that was number 15, Jamarion Pearson, the junior, poking that ball loose. And then Johnny on the spot becomes Jakari on the spot when Nobles takes it back to Statesboro's side of the field.
Only 3 seniors, but the juniors on the Swainsboro defense getting the job done. And good field positioning for the Tigers.
And those first 2 drives were in relatively average field position for Swainsboro. If your offense hasn't been working, how much of a shot in the arm is it to now get a chance where you're already starting so far down the field?
Well, it gives you a great opportunity. They were 3 and out the first 2 drives, so now a little bit more downfield, and with them being a run team, expect Quinn Brown to hopefully get a first down for him and more.
Well, this is Adams wiggling away from Quincy Jackson, who is in pursuit and picking up a couple.
And we also have to talk about the speed of Adams. He runs a 4.4740.
Ooh.
And looking to put that on display. Not there on the
What
first
do they say,
down.
Danny? Speed kills?
Speed kills, and he wants to use it. Wasn't able to find space on the first down run. Was stopped at the line of scrimmage. But look to see him involved a bit more on the Tiger offense.
And here comes the sweep play to DeMello Jones. And there's Jones out across the first down marker. So DeMello Jones with a couple of early looks here for Swainsboro, and they like what they see.
Yeah, the wide receiver sweep from the backfield has been purely effective in the first quarter. We've already seen so far it'll be Adams, Jones, or Brown leading the charge on offense.
The right tackle, Trelivion Harris, getting to the second level and blocking on that sweep. It's 1st and 10 from the 35 for Swainsboro. A lot of 3 and 4 wide receiver looks for the Tigers so far. And the give here is to Jones. The sweep around left side, and Jones will get down to about the 28-yard line. Second down and 3.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. Jones, another run, this time to the left side. Jamie Spate was there for the tackle, was shaken up a bit right there. May have landed on his hand, but able to get back up.
So Spate will take a rest. Jaden Wells checked in for him. Second and 3 from the 28. No score, 3 minutes, 37 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Adams on the keeper. And he will get tackled probably a yard short of the marker. Make that 2.
So a short gain on second down. However, Swainsboro starting to get in field goal range. You want to go for the touchdown and get a first down here on 3rd and 2, but at least you know if you can't get it, you can always pull out the kicker.
Yeah, well, their kicker is a freshman, Jorge Bonilla. And this would be kind of a tough attempt for them. They'd like to get a little closer. It'd be a 44-yarder right now. So 3rd down and 2. Jones coming across the formation again. This time a keeper by Adams, and Adams will gain the first down marker. So pick it up, 1st and 10, Swainsboro, onward.
And when you're able to get DeMello Jones going on a couple of those wide receiver handoffs, you can fake it and create space, and that's what Adams did. Space up the middle, able to get a first down for the Tigers.
And this is what McIntosh County Academy tried to do against Brunswick last week to try and counteract the numbers disadvantage, spread them out, make them defend more ground, and see if you could get that fatigue factor working in the other direction. 1st and 10 from the 23. This one, a bullet pass complete. Positive yardage for Swainsboro. Keshawn Deloach making his first appearance on the day.
It was a matter of time. Once you get that run game going, you can open up the passing game. They kept it simple. Short pass to Deloach, but a gain of 8.
Deloach working on Camonte Smart. 2nd and 2. So let's ID DeMello Jones at the bottom of your screen. And this is a give to Brown, and it won't pick up much.
Yeah, at first on the handoff, it looked like there was open space in the middle, but it collapsed quickly by the defensive line for Statesboro.
So another 3rd and short here. Swainsboro's already converted one of those as time ticks down in the first quarter.
They're already under a minute and a half to play. That just shows how much the running game has been in effect, taking no time getting the plays going.
Empty backfield for Adams. Jones, the motion man. Adams, the giver, and he is inside the 10-yard line for another Swainsboro first down.
For a moment there, it looked like Adams could have bounced out with the block from one of his receivers. Instead, keeps it inside, but gets the job done and gets a first down.
So in case you're just joining us, a pair of 3-and-outs for both sides, but then a Statesboro turnover, a fumble, set up Swainsboro at the 47-yard line of the Blue Devils, and now here they are at the 8-yard line facing 1st and goal. Now here's the pass to Jones. Jones breaking free, reaching for the end zone, touchdown! So Swainsboro strikes first, an 8-yard pass from Ty Adams to DeMello Jones.
And in the first quarter, Scott Roberts has offense and defense making big plays. The defense forced a fumble, quick pass over to Jones, breaks a couple of tackles, and gets in the end zone for a Tigers touchdown.
You just saw it again on the Savannah and Low Country Honda Dealers replay. That was 3 broken tackles by my count. And now here comes Darion Coleman, not listed as a kicker, but he makes the extra point. We're going to take a break and come back in just a second. And there's a look at Georgia Southern's campus, a place our color commentator is very familiar with. This segment of the WSAV CW Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week is brought to you by your Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers. Looking to buy a new Honda? Well, you can see the full lineup at savannah-lowcountry.hondadealers.com. Andrew Goldstein, Danny Waugh here for the WSAV CW Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week, where Swainsboro has just drawn first blood.
Yeah, and Scott Roberts, head coach for Swainsboro High, talked about for DeMello Jones, the more he gets involved, the better he gets, and was heavily involved in that series for the Tigers.
Well, I made this note before we went to commercial. Deron Coleman is kicking for Swainsboro, even though he's not listed as a kicker. Jorge Bonilla, the freshman, the only guy listed on this roster as a kicker. So that could play large a little bit later if this game comes down to a field goal. Not to do a Chekhov's gun thing for football, but, you know, there is nothing that this program does not cover, from plays to musical references. We work it all in here as Statesboro takes it back over.
So now the key here is to keep the ball. Don't commit another turnover after just giving up a turnover, which resulted in a Swainsboro touchdown.
Statesboro will get it on the 33-yard line. And prior to that fumble, Michael had a good run going, so we saw a glimpse of that athleticism. Both guys are dual threat. Michael looking downfield, trying to escape the rush, and he won't be able to do it. It's sack time for Swainsboro, and there's Deron Coleman.
Yeah, Coleman was right there. Michael was able to break a couple of tackles to get out of it, but once that third man, Coleman, came up, nowhere to go. It's a loss of one.
He only had one sack in all of 2020. He's got two this season. So third game, already surpassing his total from last year. Well, that's the end of the first quarter. Swainsboro 7, Statesboro 0 is your score. We'll be back with the second quarter in just a minute or two on the WSAV CW Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week. Welcome you back with pleasant images of peaceful fields. This segment of the WSAV CW Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week is brought to you by your Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers. No adventure is too big for the Honda lineup of SUVs. See the rugged 2022 Pilot at your local Savannah and Low Country Honda dealer. So it's time to see what Statesboro can do on their turn on offense. 19 total rushing yards for Statesboro in the first quarter, just 5 through the air, and 1 turnover. not the offensive start that Jeff Kaiser would have wanted.
No, the defense for Swainsboro has been on it on that previous play by Jalen Michael. Really nowhere to go, bouncing to the outside, making it 3rd down and 8.
So Michael with 4 wide receivers in the formation, looking to his right, firing deep, incomplete. It looks like he was going for Caden Grumbar, or check that, that was Peyton Wedlow, but the pass was at least 5 yards too far out there.
Yeah, went on a go route. You have 4 receivers, 2 on each side, just overthrew by a large margin, resulting in a 3 and out.
You know, it's interesting that we haven't seen Jalen Michael be as effective as we thought he might be through the first quarter and change.
Yeah, sometimes it takes some time to get going, but we'll just have to see as this game rolls along.
So the deep man on the punt on that one was Jakari Nobles. He won't get a crack at it. Instead, Swainsboro will take it over on the 21-yard line. And if Ty Adams operates with the confidence and the precision that he did on his last drive, not only are the Tigers going to have a good chance at another score, it could be a sign of things to come.
That's right. They haven't really seen that offensive production since the first half against Metter back in week 1. Since then, the offense just hasn't been there, but being able to get points off of a turnover from the defense, they want to continue that momentum here in the second quarter.
You know what's interesting is Swainsboro sees a lot of wing T and option and run-heavy offenses in its region, from Jeff Davis to Vidalia. It's a real clash of styles when they line up against those teams, and we're going to see that in October and November. 1st down and 10, Ty Adams on the snap, and Ty Adams on the 1st down.
Right now, it's mainly a 1-2 punch between Adams and Jones. That time, the fake handoff to Jones, and Adams going on the outside left on the far side, and gets the 1st down as well.
Ty Adams will pick up about 11 yards on the ground there. He had 24 total yards in the first quarter, along with a touchdown.
And also one big thing there, Andrew, on that replay, Schuler-Coney with the block, being able to give Adams the 1st down for Swainsboro.
There's Quinn Brown picking up a couple. Brown looks like he will gain about 3-4 yards. And that's going to be a timeout on the field. So we're going to step aside, come back in a minute or two. 7-0 your score in favor of Swainsboro. This segment of the WSAV CW Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week is brought to you by your Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers. No adventure is too big for the Honda lineup of SUVs. See the rugged 2022 Pilot at your local Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers. So welcome back to the Game of the Week. Both sides with 2 timeouts. And we come back up to 2nd and 7 on the 37 for Swainsboro. Adams in the gun. Give up the middle. And that'll bring up probably 3rd and 6, roughly.
Yeah, nowhere to go on that play. Jaleel Anderson, the senior, 6'4", 295 pounds, blowing up the play at the line of scrimmage.
Jaleel Anderson had 1 tackle against Wayne County.
With Anderson and Josh Johnson on that combined stop.
So give it a half for both of them. And here is the sweep play to Jones, and Jones is getting nowhere. Oh, that was big Jaleel Anderson once again.
Yeah, Anderson read it well. And it seems like Statesboro defense is starting to get it together. That timeout may have helped them. Jeff Kaiser may have sparked a fire underneath that defense.
And, you know, when you use so many kinds of different combinations, it can be tough to communicate and sort of have each person know what his role is. So I think with more experience, you're going to see more guys get comfortable. It may take a game or two longer than it otherwise might for a more compact team.
And not to mention, they didn't play last week. They have had plenty of rest, and sometimes you can't simulate game speed during practice. You just got to go out there and do it during a game, and they're starting to pick it up.
So Swainsboro will take over at the 34-yard line. The drive chart for them looks this way: punt, punt, touchdown, punt. And for Statesboro, punts across the board.
Yeah, so now the defense has some momentum. The offense needs to capitalize off of it. You see what Cam Michael can do.
So Cam Michael lining up to take the snap with 3 wide receivers out in the formation. Slightly offset from the line of scrimmage is Crayson Wells. Wells the motion man. Then around left end, it's Michael. And Michael breaking free out across the 45-yard line. Jalen Michael with a burst of speed, and that's first down for the Blue Devils.
So on the pre-snap, Jamarian Pearson, the linebacker for Swainsboro, showed blitz up the middle, so they bum rushed the inside, but Statesboro able to gain a huge amount of yards rounding out on the outside. That time, Jalen Michael, big gain.
Jalen Michael, first-team all-region kind of player last year. And if they can get him rolling, all of a sudden the complexion of this game changes. First down and 10. And here is the give once again to Michael. And this time his efforts are not nearly as fruitful. Jaquavius Lattimore in on that tackle for Swainsboro.
Yeah, that time the Tigers had 6 up front, 2 outside linebackers up on the line of scrimmage, being able to contain the running game from the outside, kept it inside, nowhere to go for Statesboro.
You know, despite their record, Swainsboro hung tough against Jeff Davis last year, only lost 15-7, hung tough against Vidalia. You know, the defense has been there for a year or two. It's just a matter of if the offense can catch up.
Yeah, you got to have consistency on both sides. That's one thing that Scott Roberts talked about with us earlier this week.
Second down and 9 for Statesboro. And the the keeper is Cam Michael, and Michael will get absolutely nowhere.
So this time, Jakari Nobles, listed as a safety, was playing up like a defensive end on the outside. Had that quarterback contain role on the run. Steadily waited for his moment, gets past the O-lineman, and, you know, Cam Michael tried to get out of it, but this time Nobles overpowered him.
Well, when you're playing such a good running quarterback, it's so important that you set the edge, and that's exactly what Nobles did.
You always have to have that quarterback spy when you're facing a dual threat.
So third down and 10. We'll see if Michael will go back to the air here. Time ticking down under 7 minutes in the second quarter. And we hear the referee's whistle. And that is a delay of game on Statesboro.
5 yards down.
So that is our first penalty for either side today. And that'll bring up third down and 15 for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, expect about, we have 2 wide receivers on the left side. You have 1 on the right side for Statesboro. They also have a fullback in the backfield with both Jalen and Cam Michael. You would assume pass, but you could see with Cam Michael in the shotgun position, you can see a handoff up the middle for a big gain. We'll see what they do here.
Well, it looks like a pass. Michael stepping up in the pocket. The Swainsboro rush gets to him, and he breaks free. Flags fly in the backfield. Michael's still going. Cam Michael out across the first down line. We'll check the flags, but that was a Houdini-like escape.
Well, with both Jalen Michael and a fullback in the backfield, and he kept himself up the middle, you have extra blockers to get through. And he was able to get through. That could go back, depending on the amount of flags we saw. But the pocket started to collapse, and that's just
Personal
all
foul,
Cam
face
Michael.
mask on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run.
But instead it works out.
Wow, so count it for Statesboro. Would have been a first down either way, but that's just a whole heap of other yards that he otherwise would not have gotten had he just gone down at the first point of contact.
And now we saw the first flag on Swainsboro, and that's costly. 15 yards after a big run by Cam Michael. That's going to put the Blue Devils in great field position.
So move it on down to the 24-yard line. 1st and 10. And wow, if Statesboro ends up winning this game, we may point back to that penalty as the moment where everything turned.
It's definitely the moment where everything has turned so far for Statesboro, starting to clean things up on the offensive side.
This is by far the deepest Statesboro has been into Swainsboro territory. 1st down and 10. Michael gunning it. He's got a man, and Taylor dropped it. Tim Taylor had a beat on that ball and just couldn't bring it into his chest.
Yeah, you have to catch that. One-on-one on the outside. You had open space, a slant route through the middle. That could have been a touchdown for Statesboro right there if he held on to it.
So that was the second time Taylor's been targeted tonight. He has 1 reception, and it looks like Swainsboro is giving him ample room to operate. Ty Adams, the quarterback, is also playing corner out there. You see a lot of guys play 2 ways for these smaller schools, and he ceded a lot of underneath space to Taylor.
Yeah, he's giving more space right here on 2nd and 10.
Michael takes the shotgun draw, and Michael is out across the 15-yard line. So that'll be close to another first down, and they're going to give it to him. That will indeed be a first down.
And there was so much space on the left side. Good job by the O-line, and a great run by Michael, able to follow his blockers and read the gap and get a first down for Statesboro.
DeMello Jones in on the tackle, but not before a pickup of 10, 11 yards for Michael. So Statesboro taking a second to get set up here. Had a couple of substitutions to contend with. The give once again up the middle to Michael, and Michael will gain a couple yards.
Quan Starnes, the junior, there on the stop.
So 2nd down and 5.
Yeah, however, Michael was able to get through. All it takes is 4 or 5 yards each play.
Yeah, and by the way, sometimes you see these speed guys that don't want to take contact. That's not Jalen Michael. If the way ahead is plugged up, he has no problem lowering his shoulder and picking up a couple extra yards.
This is a strong kid. He benches 275, squats 405 pounds. He's ready to absorb some contact. A bit of a power back as well.
And here's Michael again, trying to find a hole up the middle behind his center, Mathis Lanier. Instead, he will find nothing. 3rd down and 3. Well, not nothing, a little something.
Well, that time, not really much space to go, but, going off of the strength of Michael, that's the type of strength that a lot of college coaches are looking at with these running backs. You can't just be able to run the ball and have that speed factor. You got to have that durability, that power factor as well to push through when you have 3rd down and 2, 3rd down and 1, in this case for Statesboro, 3rd down and 4.
So in the shotgun formation is Michael. 3 wideouts in the formation. And this is a quarterback keeper and chase down. We'll see if that's enough for the first. It doesn't look like it.
That play had me fooled. I thought for a moment they were going to go back to Michael. Instead, the fake handoff bouncing to the outside. Jakari Nobles was able to break through a block.
By the laces of his shoe, dragging Michael down. Excellent play.
But it's 4th down and 1. They're going to kick a field goal here.
Yes, they are. Out to kick is Michael Cruz. Also a soccer player, by the way. You see this with a lot of high school football teams. This one from 22 yards. High snap. And it doesn't matter. It is through the uprights. So with 3 minutes 44 seconds remaining in the second quarter, your score, Swainsboro 7, Statesboro 3.
Well, you saw the pressure by Swainsboro on the field goal attempt. It was almost blocked from our angle. Put a lot of pressure on the Statesboro kicker. But Statesboro able to get
tonight
through.
On the Friday Night Blitz, we're going to give you a look at some of the games that we have coming up. And we have a few good ones. Benedictine and Beaufort, an interstate clash. Savannah and New Hampstead. Beaufort Academy, Bethesda Academy, unfortunately just called off a day or two ago. Richmond Hill traveling to Burke County. Island and Johnson, a nice SCC PSS matchup. So Benedictine and Beaufort, probably the best game we've got going tonight other than this one. Benedictine coming off a loss against Christopher Columbus last week. A huge private school out of Florida. They are looking for redemption against a 2-0 Beaufort squad that is now playing its third consecutive team from Georgia. So once again, all of this deliciousness coming up tonight on the Friday Night Blitz Highlights Show. So kicking off here for Statesboro, and now receiving for Swainsboro is the up man, and he'll get out across the 30-yard line. Well, I guess they wanted to kick it short, maybe avoid DeMello Jones, but Swainsboro is going to get pretty decent field position out of this.
With 3:34 left to play in the second quarter, and the way Swainsboro has been running time off the clock with their run game, this could be the final possession that we see before halftime.
Yeah, if there's any indication, Swainsboro wants to just melt clock as they march down the field. This is not necessarily a quick strike kind of offense. And Statesboro is receiving the ball to begin the second half. So they may not get another crack at it until then.
Yeah, they just need to run the clock out here. For Statesboro, the momentum is starting to come their way. Settle for a field goal instead of a touchdown, but the defense can force a 3 and out.
Now here's a QB keeper by Adams. He'll pick up about 7-8 yards, but it looked like he had the room to pick up a lot more.
Yeah, and that's what you need to do. Just keep the momentum going up the middle off the fake handoff. And tripped up by Jamie Spate for Statesboro.
A heroic tackle, because had Spate not made it, we could be talking about 20 yards or more there. There was a lot of green grass ahead of Adams.
Yeah, another shoestring tackle. We just saw one on the other end that would have been a touchdown for Statesboro.
Second down and 2, and the give here is to Quinn Brown. And Brown will not get back to the line of scrimmage, and emerging from the pile with the ball is Creighton Horst, but they're going to say forward progress stopped Brown before any fumble occurred.
Yeah, there was nowhere to go there, and some chippiness at the end on both sides.
Well, that's what you like to see in a game like this. You know, it's a rivalry game. It goes back a long way. You want to see him get into it a little bit, you know, within the bounds of the rules, but still, you like that passion.
Yeah, Scott Roberts for Swainsboro wanted to make every game count. All of their non-region games are rivalry games to them.
Excellent tackle there by Creighton Horst, coming up and meeting his man right in the hole.
Yeah, Horst was right there. Nice hit stick tackle. But it's a 5-yard gain for Swainsboro, excuse me.
So you keep melting that clock. We are now running just over 2 minutes, second down and 5 on the 47 of Swainsboro. 3 wide receivers split out to the right. And now the motion man is Quinn Brown. Interesting wrinkle, because DeMello Jones has usually been the motion man on those sweeps, but Quinn Brown taking his first carry in that fashion.
Yeah, I was just about to say, this time they go with the true freshman Brown, and you saw things didn't work out for him. Nowhere to go. May have gotten just about 2 or 3 yards. So now it's 3rd and 3.
1 minute, 30 seconds approaching. Both sides have 2 timeouts, let's remember. So Swainsboro can stop the clock if they wish, or if Statesboro backs him up a couple yards and thinks they can score, they can call a timeout as well. Pivotal play coming here. Jones in motion. The give is to DeMello Jones. Jones down to the 38-yard line. A gain of 11, Swainsboro first down.
So they tried Quinn Brown on the last play with the wide receiver handoff on the sweep. This time they go back to what's been working for him with Jones, and great job at the end of the run absorbing that contact, colliding with Kerry Brinson on the defensive side for Statesboro.
Coming into this game, Jones had 152 rushing yards on just 9 carries, to give you an idea of what kind of home run hitter he is. And there is a timeout on the field called by Statesboro. So maybe they didn't like what they saw on the other side of the line of scrimmage and wanted to give themselves a chance to recover. Well, coming up on WSAV this weekend, tradition, team, Tigers. WSAV is proud to go inside Clemson football with Coach Dabo Sweeney. Sunday late nights, go all in with game day highlights and exclusive interviews, plus the take from the coach. Watch Inside Clemson Football with Dabo Sweeney every Sunday late night at 12:35, only during college football season and only on WSAV starting this weekend. And, of course, it'll be really interesting to hear from Coach Sweeney after the Clemson-Georgia game, which will be the center of the college football universe tomorrow.
Yeah, that game right there could potentially determine who we see in the college football playoff in December. It's crazy now. We're starting to see these big-time matchups in Week 1 more and more, and it's been more exciting for college football fans. Normally, you just see a lot of Power 5 teams face an FCS team or a team from the G5 just to get their season going. But no, more at stake in Week 1. I love it, Andrew.
Yeah, the first top 5 matchup to open a season in UGA history. And if you know how long UGA's been playing, that's quite a feat.
Oh, yeah.
First down and 10 for Swainsboro on the 38-yard line. Adams going deep and incomplete. He was looking for Keyshawn DeLoach, working on Kerry Brinson. That'll be second down and 10.
That was a dangerous throw by Adams. Yes, it looked like DeLoach was open, but you had 3 defenders surrounding him, and Brinson for Statesboro almost came up with an interception.
You just saw it again on the Savannah and Low Country Honda Dealers replay. 53 seconds remaining. 3 timeouts left for Swainsboro. Jones in motion. Adams fakes it to him, keeps. There's a flag down, and he'll get stacked up just shy of the line of scrimmage. Let's check that flag.
Holding on the offense. Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, still second down.
All right, so back Swainsboro up 10 yards, and all of a sudden they have their heels on midfield almost.
Yeah, this is going to be a unique situation for Swainsboro. You saw the first down pass didn't go their way. This play got blown up. Right there you see Anderson for the Blue Devils stopping the momentum of Adams. Then you put a holding penalty on top of it. This could be a situation where you could just see Swainsboro just run the clock out and get back to the locker room.
As a fan of Hail Marys, I'm very much against that.
Well, we'll see. They have 3 receivers lined up, 2 on the far side, 1 on the near side.
Adams in the gun, 2nd and 20. The pitch on the play is over to Stewart, and he is stacked up. Or excuse me, that's Jakari Nobles.
Creighton Horst and Quincy Jackson, the sophomore and the senior respectively, right there. And this is the momentum that Statesboro's defense needs, especially like you talked about earlier, Andrew. They get the ball to start the second half.
So clock ticking under 15 seconds here. Swainsboro can get off another play on 3rd and 20 if they wish. No great urgency on their side, though. 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, and the play just gotten off. The give here to Nobles. Nobles running out across the 40-yard line, but that'll do it for the first half. Your score at the end of one half here, Swainsboro 7, Statesboro 3. We'll be back in a couple minutes on the WSAV CW Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week.